Hi there everyone, Soraya French here, greeting you from sunny Hampshire. I also would like to say thank you to Chaz for inviting me to be one of the guest artists in the last few years at Patchings, and also a huge thank you to Catherine Fruit for inviting me to carry out the most enjoyable demonstrations for St. Cuthbert's in the arena every year. Again, I will be missing those experiences very much this year. I just find the whole atmosphere of Patchings really unique. I love catching up with all the other demonstrating artists. I meet up with some of my students and meet new people from the visiting public, and just enjoy the whole fantastic atmosphere of the festival that Chaz and everyone creates at Patchings. The lockdown experience for me, like for so many other people, has been quite surreal and a mixed bag of emotions really, but I've tried to keep positive and try to enjoy this much slower pace of life rather than rushing around the country, doing my demonstrations and workshops as every year. I've tried to achieve also a few useful things. One of them being decluttering my main studio at project workshops, and the other being creating this lovely space studio in my home right next to my kitchen, which allows me to work later in the evening and also a little bit earlier in the day before I set out to go to my main studio. It's been also a very useful space for writing my articles and working on my book from the comfort of my home. So the last 13 months or so I've written a number of monthly articles for the Artist magazine. These are 4-page spreads that include step-by-step demonstrations. And thank you for all the readers who've written to me saying they've tried out some of the demos, making the whole exercise really worthwhile for me. I was also really excited to see that a couple of the images from this series found their way on the cover of the magazine. So thank you very much to the Artist Publishing Company, and in particular to Dr. Sally Balgin for commissioning these articles, which in the last few years, which I've really enjoyed writing immensely. So thank you for that. I'm currently working on my book number 6, and this is on semi-abstract flowers in mixed media. As ever, it's going to be jam-packed, full of new ideas and tips and tricks. I will be including a lot of different materials combined together and individually. So acrylic, as usual, is my main player in its various consistencies. So there will be heavy body inks, fluid colors, as well as watercolor and gouache, also dry media such as pastels. I love all the Caran d'Ache various crayons such as Neo Art, Neo Color 2, Neo Pastel, which is their oil pastel, plus a lot of golden textures, grounds, and all kinds of different media such as sprays. So there will be a lot of information in the book. And it's very suitable for those of you who wish to take your work towards a much more looser and semi-abstract way rather than botanical rendition of flowers. The book will be published by Batsford sometime next year. This brings me to my workshops scheduled for this year, which sadly had to be cancelled. These are usually held at my main studio, which is at Project Workshops, a very unique and vibrant art center near Andover in Hampshire. Some of you may have been there. And in the last 10 years, we've welcomed many students from all over the world, from South Africa, Australia, Europe, Sweden, France, Spain, Cayman Islands, America, and also four corners of UK. And we are very sad that this year, due to the pandemic, we had to cancel these. The autumn workshops scheduled for the autumn may go ahead or may not. We'll review this situation later on in the summer. New dates, however, will be on my website. This is just sorayafrench.com, and you can also find details of upcoming events, exhibitions, etc., all on our news page, along with my email and telephone number, and feel free to contact me anytime if you have any questions about any issues. So this brings me round also to saying thank you to those of you who've written to me during lockdown, messaging me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and by email, saying that you've revisited my contemporary landscapes in mixed media, trying out some of the exercises again. And this is truly music to my ears and makes the many hours that I spend creating these books really worthwhile. So thank you very much for that. During the rest of this summer, I'm going to really concentrate on a lot of flower painting because this is dictated by my articles in the Artist magazine and also the current book that I'm writing. But also it's one of the subjects that allows me to really manipulate color and texture and shapes and everything that I love and enjoy about painting. So this is what I will be doing during this summer. Now, some of you may know of my association with Golden Artist Colors. I'm very passionate about their products and I'm their main educator in UK. I usually carry out around 20 events for Golden every year for art groups and societies and retail stores. So if any of you wish to book a really educational demonstrations about everything to do with acrylic or pour watercolors or Williamsburg oils, please feel free to contact me. I'm often asked what kind of support I use for my paintings. As a watercolorist, many years ago I tried and tested quite a variety of different watercolor papers until I came across Saunders Waterford paper. And for some reason it suits my work, and I used to get all the results that I wanted from that paper. So I continued using it with my acrylics and then went on to use it for my mixed media paintings as well. And I've introduced the paper to many of my students who were really surprised at first to use watercolor paper for their mixed media paintings, but they've gone on to really enjoy the paper with great results. Some of the paintings that appeared in my articles in the Artist magazine, all done on various weights of paper. They're all done on St. Cuthbert's Saunders Waterford paper. One or two are on Barkingford paper, which is another surface I really enjoy working on. So most of these paintings have appeared in the articles in a step-by-step demonstration in the last 13 months or so. These are all different weights of paper. I personally favor the 200-pound weight because it's a kind of a middle ground weight for mixed media painting. And as you can see, I tape around the paper and I don't usually need to stretch the paper. The other question sometimes is when you run out of steam and you come across what is known as artist block, or the river of inspiration runs dry. What I do usually is I go through my browsers and fish out some of the unfinished paintings. They're not necessarily failures, they're paintings that I may have started with the best intention and then they get left for many months. I usually revisit these paintings, and by working on something that I'd already started, I seem to get back on track. Some of them end up being quite nice paintings at the end that I feel quite pleased with. So the other trick is to take a piece of mount board in various sizes, put it around the paintings that you've got in the browser, and sometimes you'll find that a section of a bigger painting is good enough as a painting in its own right. And the other really useful exercise is doing really small paintings. So I have many of these. Again, they're not taxing, you're not trying to create a masterpiece, and you don't have to spend many hours on it, but it keeps your hand in and keeps you practicing until such time when you get your mojo back. So I've got hundreds of these, and they're not all paintings. Sometimes they're just about intuitive mark making, or trying out a new color, or see how a texture works. And these little exercises again are very necessary and a good way of getting back into your creative flow. Now this brings me around to wish everyone a really enjoyable summer, to once again say thank you so much to Chaz, Liz, and everyone, all the organizers at Patchings, for having given us so many enjoyable events in the last few years, and we are all looking forward to following this virtual Patchings Festival, which I'm sure will be amazing and very professional, and the next best thing that we can enjoy and still connect with one another. So enjoy the rest of the summer, keep those creativity going, this is going to be sustaining us during this very difficult time. And hopefully we'll meet again at the real Patchings Festival next year, and look forward to many more artistic adventures at Patchings next year. Keep safe and well, and we'll meet again. Thank you very much from me. Bye bye.